Morning with Max. Good morning, folks, and welcome to another Morning with Max. As you say, Strike. And good morning, Brand and Lottoween. We're kicking off another week of development here in the City State Entertainment Studio as you're working on the MMORPG Camelot Unchained. If you don't know me, I'm Max Porter. I am the writer, editor, lore keeper, board game designer, and various other things here at City State Entertainment. Good morning, Scott Florence, Svarty, and Denarian. Happy Monday to you too. How's my voice coming through? Okay. This directional mic sometimes makes, or it can come in through one headphone or the other. Sounds good. Okay, cool. I had an absolute blast on the Unchained vodcast, Brand, chatting up the board game with you guys. Strike. Max, the door to your private torture chamber is open. You mean the second conference room? No torture in there so far. Just discussion of various board game manufacturing options with me and Michelle and Kara, the wonderful artists who are working on the board game. And yes, we did as well. Always a pleasure. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys come around to topics involving me again, and I can come on again, because I would love to come back to the vodcast. Hey, Svarty, your name wouldn't happen to be related to the same root word as Svart Alfar, would it? Lottoween says, Dark Elves, huh? Indeed. Karasthina says, lots of Max streams yesterday. Welcome, Karasthina. Yes, indeed. Lottoween's going to tell me that I should have called them Black Elves. But I think Dark Elves sounds cooler in English, and Svartalfar sounds cool in Norse. Svarty, yes it is. Svart means black in Swedish, and I like anglicized it. Makes sense. Why would I do that, Lottoween? Okay. Maybe I mischaracterized your what you were going to say. Maybe you're just happy that the Vikings are getting a lore story and possible race addition. Oh, Strike. By the way, Max, about your board game. Can you change the layout of the board mid-game, like creating a wall that closes off passages? Yes, to your first question, and no to your example. And basically, you can break open walls, and it's possible to manipulate the terrain. So the terrain tokens, I have some right here. you can move them around on the board. So, say you might have some monstrous forge in one area, and verdant horrors, toothed plants, on another, and then you might swap them so that your opponent has to deal with the verdant horrors, and you get the benefits of the monstrous forge. Now you can also break open walls to create additional passages. Now, why can't you wall them off? I might add a mechanic where you could repair walls that were broken, but not make new walls. And the reason is because people will troll and make the game boring for someone else, or even themselves, if they are able to wall things, make new walls, wall things off. Brand, I enjoyed the D&D stream last night, Max. Oh, well, thank you so much for coming by, Brand. We sure had a lot of fun playing D&D last night. I didn't get a chance to read the newsletter yet. I was just skimming it. Okay, well, hit me up when you have read it, Lotaween. I am very eager to hear what you think. Strike, those are some high-quality tiles. Yeah, well, those are just my playtest things with, like, paper glued to foam core. We've been getting, like, sample packs and stuff from various manufacturers to kind of check out the quality of a real manufacturer. In fact, Michelle's looking at one right now.
I just want to peek.
You wanted to peek? Well, take it, Michelle. Take it over to your desk and take a closer look. Oh, okay. She's got other stuff she got to do. Strike. It would be cool if you could at least temporarily block away with the roots, for example, to trap enemies or split a group. The problem is, Strike, in a fast-paced game like this one, losing, like, a turn, basically, to getting walled off, or even being forced to play a card in order to directly respond to something like that, and just having no other choice, it's not fun. I mean, I might be able to make it balanced in the board game, but it's not fun. It slows things down. So breaking things open, that's fine. That's fine and dandy. Speeds things up. I used to have both. I know this. I can say this with confidence, Strike, because I've tested it pretty extensively. There used to be a lot of things that would slow you down, and almost all of them have been removed because the problem is, like, well, what if it happens more than once? What if it happens 3 times in a row, and you lose 3 turns? Well, I mean, not only is it going to be boring, you're going to lose. So that's a bad. The problem is, Strike, that in this game, getting slowed down is not a fun way to lose. Strike, would be cool if you could at least temporarily. No, that's the one I just answered. Palin Brewer, good morning, Mr. Max. Good morning, Mr. Brewer. Strike, maybe make them get destroyed from damage too. The walls, as opposed to a particular ability. I would certainly change the game. Problem is, then you'd have to, like, track wall HP, Strike, or something like that, and that's not something I want people to be bothered with. Again, in a fast-paced kind of game, like in a slower game, sure, fine, a little bit of bookkeeping is to be expected, but in a game like the Depths board game, where it's very, very quick, very high energy kind of game, beer and pretzels kind of craziness. Um, I don't want to inflict that kind of bookkeeping. Halloween. I'd be very interested to hear the stories of Afternoon Paps this week. Great idea, Halloween. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about it. I'll see if it makes sense to schedule a reading stream, lore reading stream. Maybe next week. Not sure about this week. But I'll think about it. Walls is like being stun locked, and maybe a little bit Halloween. Strike, yes, I can see what you mean. I just like board games where you manipulate the terrain. Well, play a Pict in the board game. Or the bad guy. Strike like mazes where you shift around the terrain to change the maze. Yeah, there's some really good games like that. I really love terrain. I love it in Dungeons and Dragons. I love it in board games, and I love it in the Depths board game in particular, where you really got to consider the terrain you're standing on, the terrain your opponent's on, sometimes even the terrain in between, and it can shift. Svarty, what tabletop RPGs outside of D&D have you played? I used to think that I hadn't played very many, and then I recently was trying to list them off for a friend once that I had played, and the list kept growing and growing, and I was like, wow, I really have played a lot. Somebody's car alarm's like right outside. You can probably even hear it. Where was I? Okay, so D&D. Blades in the Dark, which is a great game that I have been streaming both my prep and my campaign for on twitch.tv/supercommoner. Played that on Saturday night. It was a really fun session. So Blades in the Dark, Shadowrun. One of my favorites is Don't Rest Your Head. Great one-shot horror kind of style of tabletop RPG. So yeah, Don't Rest Your Head. Highly recommended. Let's see. Pathfinder, obviously. I'm just going off the top of my head here, but there's many more. I could keep going. Blades in the Dark, BITD, as Karasthina points out. Strike, has anyone already fooled you today, Max? Well, like we said on Friday afternoon's stream, we don't have any plans to do anything for April 1st. Nobody's pranked me. I hope they continue to not prank me. I haven't pranked anybody. It's Friday. Dungeon World's a cool one, especially for one-shotties. Yeah, I've heard good things. I have like a starter rulebook or a quick start thing that I have read through, and like a Dungeon World GM screen that I picked up on a free comic book day once. Haven't actually played it though. Oh man, there's so many more too. Some that I've made up. There's the Cortex. I played a game using the Firefly Serenity system and the Cortex system that's based on. What else? Dark Heresy and the Death Squad one for 40K. No pranks with Max Stream today. Yeah, no. I thought about, doing something like putting on a funny hat, and then I was like, I put on funny hats all the time. It's not really going to be that unusual. I could turn my hat sideways. There's your prank. That's pretty sad. I think I'm just going to stick to no pranks. Although I know you guys are going to try to prank me now. Try to resist. Try to resist the urge. What other RPGs have I played? Oh my gosh. See, the list goes on. It's more than I can immediately call to mind. Man, Mansions of Madness is almost an RPG. Especially the way, especially the older edition, and the way I played it. Strike. You should have let someone else pretend to be you for the first minute or so, like Tyler sitting there. Good morning with Max, folks. Yeah, I was going to do that, and then Tyler got called into a meeting. So I actually had the same thought, Strike. Svarty, World of Darkness stuff. I know a lot about Vampire the Masquerade. I don't think I've actually played it. Or Call of Cthulhu. These are on my short list of things I need to play. Ludwig says, you've never played any of the World of Darkness games? I know I've played one. I'm trying to remember which one it was. It's not coming to mind. Maybe it was a vampire game. Come to think of it. But the older edition. Svarty, Mage is my favorite when it comes to the concept. Yeah, Mage is awesome, but I was getting started with it, and then it was and my friend was like, all right, and now you need these 20 rule books. And I said, my shelf is already bending under the weight of all my Pathfinder and D&D books, so I don't know. Pawnee42, hi, I don't know if it's a German thing, but the only tabletop I know is the Dark Eye. The Dark Eye sounds really cool. It is a German thing, Pawnee42. I've looked into that. Sounds really interesting. Strike. I want to point out that your shirt color matches the wall thing behind you and also perfectly aligns with the middle of your body. Must be the camera, because this is a definitely red shirt, and that's a definitely orange wall. Different tint, really. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, it looks pretty different to me on the camera. The Dark Eye also made really good games on the PC. Cool. Full Mouse, I play the Dark Eye every weekend, and hello. Cool. Sorry, there's a remastered new one, but it's 700 pages. Close enough, says Strike. Well, all right. All right. I'm color-coded to the pillars. I don't know if you can see, but there's very faintly the TSR Dungeons & Dragons logo on here. Oh, here's a great game that you might not have heard of. I played, I ran a, what's it called? It's a penguin RPG, but it's dark and kind of dark Western style. The Valley of... called Valley of Eternity. Valley of Eternity. I heartily recommend if you like off the wall kind of games. It's like, you know, delightfully serious, even though it's about penguins like wielding weapons. Valley of Eternity. Not the most well known, but it's really, really good. Really had a lot of fun with that one. Valley of Eternity is great. I already recommended Don't Rest Your Head, which is my go-to like horror one-shot. You know, we're having a D&D meetup weekend thing. Muertegris seems in the Irish myths, and I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. Dian Kecht made the silver arm of Nuada. Had Dian Kecht any presence in CU? Yes. If you read the Silver Hand Becoming story, you may find a reference to Dian Muertegris. The 7-part kind of almost novella of the Silver Hand Becoming story. Strike reminds me of the game War Game with Pigs, Hogs of War. I have not had the pleasure of checking that out. Strike. Cody 2 down. Max, what's the timetable for CU release? Well, Cody, after, you know, all the dates we've said have been incorrect. We don't really aren't really doing that anymore. So we are we're trying for late this year. We will see what happens. We're pushing forward as hard as we can. Svarty, will the depths in CU have raid level difficulty content? Svarty, you know, you should ask Mark that question. We've talked about things in the past, ideas, you know, what could be like that. I don't know what the current plan or thought is. It may depend, I'm sure it depends on various factors. Cody 2 down. No worries, I understand. That sounds good. Good. Cody down. Why isn't anyone working there today? I think you are just looking behind me at my new desk location. I've got my neighbor over here, Mike. There's Dion behind her screen, waving. Yay! There's John. You can see more artists down that way. Here, there's Elvin. We've got the programmer and graphic artist UI, the UI pit over there. And around the corner, you can't really see it, are many programmers. Where did I have this camera? Over here? Or no, it was over here, wasn't it? So the programmer pit is like around the corner over there. We kind of have this like L-shaped thing going on. I just happen to have my camera facing toward the couches area while everyone is working. Vladwin, when are we going to get the 9-part lore story about Sigurd being the first to kill a dragon? I don't know, Vladwin. You know, you should probably ask Mark that. That kind of setting story might be something he might be excited to write for you. Nick's Nightwish. Are the betas / tests going well and on schedule? I mean, we schedule the tests as needed. Are they going well? Yeah, I mean, people are breaking stuff. And we're getting info and fixing stuff. And developing more stuff. So, yes. And we are super, super thankful for all our wonderful, wonderful beta testers. So Grimstag, are you tired this morning? After 2 long live streaming marathons last night, I am, and I just visited now and then. Well, thanks for visiting, Grimslag. Dude, you know, D&D doesn't tire me out. Blades in the Dark doesn't tire me out. GMing doesn't. I mean, I guess it can. I shouldn't say it never does. But, you know, it energizes me. And looking tired is probably from, you know, dealing with other life things, like having a 7-month-old baby. Svardi, do you have any favorite mythological monsters? Personally, I love the Basilisk and Hydra quite a bit. Yeah, it's tough to say no to the Hydra. Basilisk is cool. I had a whole Basilisk thing in my D&D game recently, and a Manticore. Hydra, the players haven't run into, and will probably be sad if they dive into any deep, dark swamps and find one. But yeah, I don't know. They're all cool. Svardi. Strike. Do you know of a member of Arth that would make a good base for an Arthurian race? I think you're trying to get me to clarify something that Mark was hinting on the forums, aren't you? And I don't know. More degrees. If the depths are full of monsters, are those monsters the Fomorians? Is it possible to find Baelor in the depths? Have the Fomorians any presence in the game? I don't know about Fomorians. Baelor also appears in the Silverhands Becoming story. And whether the in Camelot Unchained, the idol known as Baelor, will appear in the depths, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. That would be pretty cool, though. Ryan Petrie. Max, have you seen anyone change careers in their 40s? I'm finishing up a CS degree, and I'm 35. Well, yes, actually. But I don't know why you're asking me that. I'm only... How old am I? 31? But Ryan, why not? And yes, I have seen it. Quite a bit, actually. Strike, damn it, how does he know? Done found out, says Brand. Yeah. Strike says, must be his wizard powers. Yes, the wizard powers of reading the forum where people were talking about the Svartalfar story. And saying very nice things. Which is always nice. Always great to hear or read. Oh, it's 11. Well, folks, it is about time for me to ramp up this morning with Max. So, I will see you later. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you, I guess there's a chance I'll see you sometime this week for reading a lore story on stream. But I'm not sure. Otherwise, I will see you Friday morning, hopefully, for another Morning with Max. And Until then, I wish you all a very good day. If you want more of me this evening, you can come by my Twitch stream and hang out and chat. But otherwise, see you later. Thanks for coming by, folks. That was a good one. Morning with Max.